Every athlete will face a setback in their athletic career at some point, and usually it is right before their event. I sprained my ankle 2 weeks ago, and I just left the orthopedics in a goddamn boot. I've had 0 injuries until now. Call myself lucky, pat myself on the back. What did the doc prescribe? 5 to 6 weeks of no running. His exact words were, "You won't be running your 100-mile ultra marathon." God dang boot. So how did this happen? I was training for, I was down in Missouri doing a work training, and I want to get some running in, and I knew I shouldn't have been running because I've been stressed, up late, sitting all day, tight muscles, and I just had a feeling that I shouldn't have been on the trail. But I wanted to get some training in because I had 2 weeks until my 100-miler. And when I went on the trail, I knew something was off with the trail, but it just kept running. I thought that was weird that I kept running into spider webs, and it felt like no one has been here for a long time. And then while a mile into the trail, I saw 2 big vultures flapping the wings. I was amazed at how loud they were, and also how big they were, and they flew right in front of me. You know, I could hear the massive wings, and it was pretty astonishing. The moment I started to daydream, I rolled my ankle. That was a mile into my run. I felt the roll. Every runner knows that moment. Time slows down. You're trying to save it, but trying to land right, gravity wins. I heard a, and not a good pop, but you know, it kind of makes me think immediately that pause, please just be a sprain. I've rolled my ankle before. I thought I could just walk it off, but this time it felt a little different. Felt a little bit more pain than usual. So I decided to call it a day and just walk back to my car. I took off my shoe and saw this huge bump. I knew that was not normal. So I did what every stubborn runner does. I walked it off, iced that night, and told myself that it was going to be okay. I kept telling myself that for 2 weeks, because surely my body wouldn't betray me now, given that I'm about to run a 100-miler. All this training went to nothing. But deep down, I knew that you can't just push off, you know, when you can't push off properly for 2 weeks, and when I kept getting this sharp pain in the same place, that something was going on. So I had to know. I went in for my x-ray and I found out that my 5th metatarsal was fractured. Small, but apparently that doesn't matter to the bones. They don't care about your timeline or your promises. The orthopedics doctor was actually very nice about it and showed me the x-ray, pointed to this tiny fracture line, and apparently ruining my entire year. He said, the good news is that it will heal completely. The bad news is that no running. He looked at my chart and saw my race schedule, and he just shook his head and said, not this year. Maybe next year. These things need time to heal. So, here's what I haven't told anyone yet. My biggest fear isn't actually about running the 100 miles. It's that I failed my brother. I wanted this to be the last 100 miles because I hate running. I laced up my shoes for him, and I'm ready to retire because I want to do other things with my life, and running takes a lot of time. I'm a slow runner because if I'm honest, really honest, training for a 100 miles when you don't love it is very brutal. It's not like those YouTube videos where people are out and about, finding themselves on the trail, having spiritual experiences at sunrise. For me, it's just hard every single run. My ankles hurt all the time. But I run because I promised. But promises don't make miles easier. They just make quitting harder. So when the doctor said no running, part of me wondered how much longer until I get to quit running. Then I felt guilty for even thinking about that, because what kind of brother questions keeping a promise? What kind of person what kind of person looks for an exit? Do we quit when things get hard? No. But then I remember something from my last ultra at mile 43 of my 50 miler, when everything hurt and I DNF'd, did not finish. This older runner passed, and he must have been in his 70s, and he said something that I had forgotten until now. He said, us trail runners, we don't stop. We might miss the cutoff, but we still have next year, so many more trails to run. We keep going until we're done. That helped me refrain my thinking to see the big picture in life, that I'm only 32 and I can do another 32 years of running if I wanted. This boot isn't ending my promise, it's just a part of it, because here's what I realized. Brian didn't ask me to run 100 miles because he wanted me to be a runner. He wanted me to do something that would take me on a journey, something that would be hard, something that would force me not to quit even when life gives me reason not to. Also because he wanted to do it and he never got a chance to. It was one of his goals. I think level 100 was one of his big goals. This was his journey that he wanted to experience, and I get to experience it for him. A fractured foot, that's just life saying, how bad do you want this? So here's what the next 6 weeks looks like. I'm going to be in this boot, probably driving everyone crazy because I can't sit still, but I'm not stopping. I'm adapting. I'll be in the pool doing whatever water running looks like. I'll be on my bike if the doctor says that it's okay. I'll be doing upper body workouts. I'll be strength training again, because the next 6 weeks, when it's up, I will be ready to start running again and rehabbing slowly. I'm not starting over. I'm just starting stronger, and I need to lose a lot of weight. So I think now's the best time to do that. Brian, if somehow you can see this, I know this looks like I'm failing, but I know I promised you 100 miles, and I've gone further than you have, so zip it. But you asked me to do something impossible, remember? Well, impossible just got a little bit more impossible, and that sounds exactly like something you will find funny. Every athlete hits this moment, the injury that changes everything, the setback that makes you question everything. But maybe that's the point. Maybe the promise wasn't really about miles. Maybe it's about becoming someone who doesn't quit when quitting gets completely understandable. 6 weeks in this, then however many weeks to rehab, then back to mile 1, but then I'm coming for those 100 miles. It might not be this year. Pretty sure it's not this year. I'm going to try and do it next year, and if I don't get it, it'll be the year after that. The promise is that I'll do it. And a fractured foot doesn't change that promise. It just makes the story longer. Brian would probably say, who's going to carry the boats? Like David Goggins. He'd tell me to get out there and run it anyway, like a lot of my friends. But nope, not this one, Brian. You're going to have to wait a little bit until I finish the finish line. So I know that you'll meet me there.